There's this great James Clear quote that I thought I'd share with you. It doesn't make sense to keep wanting something if you aren't willing to do what is required. If you don't want to live the lifestyle, then release yourself from the desire. To crave the result, but not the process, is to guarantee disappointment. And I love that as a concept, because so many people talk about the life that they want. They talk about, all these things, the body, the money, the relationship, all the things that they want. But they want to throw up the excuses. They want to throw up their reasons and justifications as to why that's not plausible for them. I'll do it I'll do it when X happens, next month, next week, next year, when I get a promotion, when I get time off, when life's not so busy, when the kids get older, whatever the reasoning might be. Well, here's the honest truth. You're not going to do it. If you're not willing to do it now, if you're not willing to pay the price now, the honest to God answer is that you're just not going to. So, at least, I don't agree with this as a life choice, I will preface that, but at least release it. Release yourself from that. Release yourself from that notion that you are going to do it, that one day you'll achieve that desire, you'll have that thing. Just go, well, it doesn't matter enough to me. It is not important enough to me for me to pay the price to do it. So let it go and accept where you are. Stop dreaming, stop chasing, stop thinking about it unless you're willing to do what is required. There's too many people want to keep talking about all the things that they'll do when. Well, that when is probably never coming. To be fair, I've never seen anyone who talks about when achieve the results that they actually want. So instead of continuing to lie to yourself, instead of continuing to kick it down the line to someday, just accept it. And be honest with yourself. We talk about this all the time. The greatest thing you could do, and the hardest thing that can be done, is to be truly honest with yourself about where you are, about what you've done, what's the cause of this situation, and what you're willing to pay to get out of this situation. Because if you aren't willing to do what is required, if you aren't willing to make the sacrifice of the unimportant for the important, just let it go. Stop telling lies to everyone. Stop telling lies to yourself and just get on with it. At least then you can be honest. You're honest about it. I am not where I want to be because of my choices. And I'm not willing to pay the price to do the things that are necessary to get where I want to go. I think that's a pretty sad reality, but it's an honest one. It's a sincere one. But until we're willing to face our own reality, until we're willing to stand in the pain of the consequences of our own actions and choices, well, nothing's really going to change. Because you can always kick it down the line. And health and fitness is the classic one, the most abused one in this circumstance. Because how many people, yourself probably included, have made New Year's resolutions? This'll be my year. This'll be the year I'll get in great shape. I'll give up the beer. I'll give up the grog. I'll start working out. I'll start eating right. And lo and behold, shit all fucking happens. Maybe you started, which I think is sometimes worse, but you started without a true intention. You started without a true intention of change. That you started off the new year and you're like, yeah, this is me. And I'll forget the exact numbers on this, but it's something like 73% of people will quit by February 14th, 6 weeks in. And of the people who are left, less than 1% are still doing their New Year's resolutions come the next year. Does that give you an idea of how fucking rare it is to actually do anything? And this comes back to the bigger issue of when we talk about, people's commitments and how rare it is to actually do the work. How rare it is to actually be in good shape. How rare it is to, give effort. What is it? If you work out 3 times a week, it puts you in like the top 5% of the population. That is wild. That is a wild thing. Even if you said it was the top 20. 3 times a week is not a big commitment. 3 times a week is not much effort. That's basically phoning it in. For 3 times a week. 3 hours out of your week. That's not a big commitment. As we discussed before, this is every single day. Truly demanding greatness is every single day. No matter what. No days off. No exception. No, this happened, this went on. No, it's every fucking day. And that's more than just the physical aspect. But think about how that would separate you. How you doing it every single day separates you. What category that puts you into. It's the height of rarity. Only the rarest breed do it every day. But it's more than just physical fitness. It's more than that. It's about keeping the momentum. It's about the man you have to become to do it every day. To go into the hurt locker. To face uncomfortable things and do the work regardless of the situation. I spoke the other day about the weighted walks and how it is such a beautiful method to develop that skill. That regardless of feelings, regardless of thought processes, regardless of what's going on in your life, you have to get that shit done. Rain, hail, snow, shine, whatever it is, that shit's getting done. That is a really, really important skill to learn. To teach, to override, your feelings on the situation. And I had that one yesterday. My goodness, was it cold. It snowed. Didn't land, but it fucking snowed. And it was cold as balls. And I was not prepared for how cold it was going to be during my walk. You know what I did? I went anyway. Could have turned around. Could have gotten like 3 minutes in and been like, fuck this for a joke. Maybe I'll try again later. No. It had to get done. I didn't have later. I didn't have an opportunity later. So the work is the work, and the work is required. So are you willing to do what is necessary to become the man, the man that's proud of himself, a man of his word, a man who follows through, a man who doesn't rely on his feelings or motivation to do shit, who relies on discipline and his word to get shit done. Because that is a very, very different man. And you show up differently in the world as that man. And those things matter. Those things teach everyone around you about who you are. I spoke the other day. This is your walking resume of your level of commitment, of your follow through, of who you are on the inside. what you do with your health and fitness fucking matters. It says something about you. Especially, it does get harder as you get older. It does get harder when you have children, when you have a business to run, when you have all these demands on your life. It is harder. But then that becomes a choice about what matters most. It speaks to what you prioritize. Do you prioritize sedation? Do you prioritize ease and comfort? Do you prioritize your selfish behaviors and your need for things that make you feel good in the moment? Or do you continue to choose to be the best version of yourself? Do you choose to show up as the best version? Do you make sacrifices to be the greatest version of you for your wife, for your kids, for those you serve, for everyone around you? Do you choose that first? You're a walking embodiment of your choices, of your life choices and your values. Yeah, it is harder. Yeah, it does take more effort. Yeah, it is harder to figure out the time. But that's why it's even more important. That's why it's so valuable that you do those things. Because it will make a difference. It separates you, especially as a father. Like I keep seeing these ones of, I don't train to be in good shape. I train to continue to beat my kids at everything. Yeah. I want to challenge them. I want to be in the race. I want to be able to do the things with them for as long as humanly possible. To be able to be that father who gets to play with his kids, who gets to do the things, who gets to participate and not sit on the sideline and be like, good job. I can actually lead by example. I can actually show the fuck up and do the work necessary. And I can participate. I can play. Anything they want from me, I can do. You want to be able to throw your kids around. You want to be able to catch them. You want to be able to wrestle them. You want to be able to play with them. You want to be able to teach them sports and athleticism and all these kinds of things. Why wouldn't you want to be the best version of them, of yourself for them? And on top of that, you want to be in great fucking shape so that they learn from the get-go that being strong, fit, and healthy is the normal, is the standard, is what you should be aspiring to. It shouldn't be this weird thing that, some people have. No, that should, it's not even should. It is normal. The rest of the world is weird. We've reached this weird fucking point in life where we've decided that actually being healthy, actually being strong and fit and capable is an oddity. That not participating in societal sedation makes you weird. Like, you go out to the pub and you get fucking wasted. That's just Johnny being Johnny. He's having a good time. He's hanging with his mates. You eat pizza, you eat junk food, you eat sugar, you eat all the crap under the sun. That's perfectly acceptable. You choose to not participate in that, now you get judged. Now you're a weirdo. Now people look at you differently. Good. Let them. That's how you want it to be. This whole concept of, aren't you worried about being weird, or aren't you worried about your children being weird? No. No, I'm not. To be honest, that's actually what I kind of aspire to be. Because the majority of people hate their lives. They're in a job they hate, in a body they hate, in relationships they hate, and they just fucking exist and wait to die. Sedating themselves along the way. No, I don't actually want to be a part of that. No, I don't think that looks like an enjoyable way to spend my life. I want to chase things. I want to pursue greatness. I want to be the best version of myself that I can humanly be. I want to live for as long as humanly possible. People laugh at me, but I want to live to 120. Do I think that's possible? I have no idea. But I'm going to make sure I look after myself as well as possible to give me the best opportunity to reach that. Whether that's God's plan or not, I don't know. But I'm going to do everything under the sun to give me the most out of this life, to show up the best version of myself. I've had the health scares. I ended up in Westmead Hospital for 5 fucking days in the cardiac ward with guys who were like 40 years minimum my senior. With my beautiful wife, 6 months pregnant. I thought I was going to die. I did. And I'm ashamed to admit that wasn't even a big enough wake-up call to stop me slipping back. It wasn't until I saw all the trials and tribulations that my son went through that, well, finally I pulled it together. And was like, I have to be the best version of myself for my family. I had the wake-up calls along the way. I was fucking sad and pathetic and thought I was above it all because, well, you know, I was comparing myself to the lowest denominator. Yeah, compared to the average person, I was doing better. Yeah, I had man tits and I had a stomach, and yeah, I hated the man in the mirror. I was disgusted with that, and I was ashamed of my inability to do things with my family. I'm ashamed to take my fucking shirt off. There was a lot of shame and guilt and disgust in all those areas. But because I worked out, because, quote unquote, most of the time I ate right, I was able to continue lying to myself about how bad the situation was. And it took multiple fucking wake-up calls from the universe to actually go, maybe I need to do something different. Maybe I need to make a change. Maybe I was called for more. But I don't know how many more of those warnings I was going to get before something serious happened. Before, you know, God decided that was my time. If I wasn't going to listen, he was going to call me back. It's time to actually wake the fuck up and do what is necessary. It's time to actually take a stand and become the man that you know you should be. It's time to stop wanting, wishing, desiring. And it's either step up, recognize that it will never be perfect, and do what is required. Do it now. Or be honest and open and actually admit that you don't care enough about it. You don't care enough about your wife, your children, your friends, your family, all those people around you that love and adore you. You don't care enough to actually get into shape. It doesn't mean enough to you to do the work required. And look, I could never understand that as a concept. I will be honest. I can never fucking understand that. I would move heaven and earth for my children, for my wife. There is nothing I would not give up. I would not sacrifice for them. So I can't come at how you could be that way. But at least it's honest. At least it's fucking honest. So it's time to make a decision. It's time to make a choice. Are you going to be honest and admit that you don't care enough about those who love and adore you to do the work, to get into great shape, to give up the sedation, to do what is necessary? That's a bridge too far. It doesn't matter enough to you to do those things. Or are you going to cut the bullshit? Are you going to do what is necessary? Are you going to put aside all your comforts, all your ease, and do what is required? Because I believe it is your duty, your honor, and your obligation as a man, as a father, to get into the best possible fucking shape of your life. So is it time to actually be that version? To actually step up and be everything they want, need, and deserve? Well, if you're ready for it, you know where to find me. You can click the link in my bio, you can shoot me a message, or you can drop a comment on here, and we'll get you into demanding greatness, and we'll show you who you can be on the other side. So if you're ready for that, now's your time. It's time to stop waiting and start doing.